Hello, welcome to another video. This is episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, in my journey in physics. And I realized while I talked about how I'm studying as well as like presenting myself and my goals, not really my goals, but just presenting myself, I haven't really presented my goals in physics, which are actually really important because these are the things that lead me towards wanting to open, I don't know, 1,500 page long textbook that no normally like sane human person would ever want to have anything to do with, let alone just own it chilling in their on their shelves. It's actually like I think my thickest book is the Halliday, Resnick and Walker Physics first edition. I think it has 1,300 pages, but I do have another normal book. It's a novel that has the third and fourth part of a novel written by Thomas Mann. That book has 1,920 pages, so it's not as long as that, but still it's very, very thick, and this is exactly my motivation for it. So what I want to do in physics, let's start with the beginning, is pass my classes. This might sound a little bit bare bones, and it kind of is. Also, you'll have to excuse me for my terrible handwriting. I like writing a lot, but I cannot say that I write in a beautiful manner. Although I did take calligraphy classes, they are far behind me, and I know that forgotten, but not really applied it to my everyday writing. So first, passing my classes, I have to study very in-depth for this, and most of my classes, because I am studying electrical engineering, are going to be on electrical engineering. But you will also see classical mechanics on the channel, thermodynamics, and a little bit of optics. Actually, optics is my least favorite chapter in all of physics. I hate it, not because I don't necessarily understand it, but just because it's not as engaging, in my opinion, as something like mechanics or thermodynamics, or especially electrical engineering, since that is what I chose. But yeah, I am planning on doing at least a Bachelor of Science. Bachelor of Science is absolutely mandatory. A Master of Science is more like, okay, I have to, but it's not that mandatory. And a PhD is something like, well, I don't know, maybe somehow I might think about it some more when I get into the master's program. But right now I'm here at the beginning of bachelor's, so I still have a very long time, and I do have to pass my classes to level up. It's kind of like a game, actually. Next, when I do eventually finish my education, whether it be here or here, I would still continue to learn physics on my own, regardless of the level, because I also want to be up to date in the fields of physics. I want to be able to read and understand papers on new discoveries, or simply just like understand what is happening that is new in the world. You know, there are many discoveries, especially in the world of smaller things, like in the world of atoms and whatnot, and also on the macroscopic scale, like the universe. Like both of these are really interesting, and there are things that it is very hard to intuitively understand, especially like quantum mechanics and quantum computing. They're very hard to understand just with high school knowledge, or just with bachelor's level knowledge. Like most people can understand with bachelor science. I think some people do study it. I'm an engineer. I don't do any kind of quantum things in the bachelor's, but as a master's and as a doctoral candidate, I do think that most people will be able to just understand most of the things. So I also want to do that. I want to understand the laws of our universe, because they're mostly physics, and they're mostly written in mathematics, the language of mathematics, the language of the universe, but the laws are physics basically. And maybe I would like to write papers or expository papers on chapters that I love. For example, maybe some new things that are going on in the world of electrical engineering, like superconductors, like, I don't know, semiconductors, ternary systems instead of binary ones. So like, yeah, I was really interested in a recent research thing going on about how usually you have a 0 and a 1 in a computer. So normal computers work like this. You have a 0 and you have a 1, and these one are bits. And normally you'd have I will also do many videos. I feel I will do many videos in the future on things like this because it's one of my biggest passions. So you have a 0 or a 1, like a false and true. Everything in our computers is currently built on this. You also have qubits, which can be 0 and 1, and that is completely something else that I don't understand on a level so that I can feel comfortable explaining it to you. But then this is a binary system because it's in the binary system. You have 0 or 1, so you have two options. But then there is the ternary system, which could be 0, 1 and 2, and that is pretty interesting. But actually it's not. I've heard like this study I've read upon recently says that we shouldn't actually take 2 because it's quite difficult to build anything out of analog things. It's more likely to get results from a simulation, but something that is more easily physically achievable in our universe is just instead of a 2, write it as -1, and you just have to invert it. It's really, I found it really interesting, mind-boggling, and this is something that I will really like to look into, especially because by the time that I finish my Master of Science, I think ternary systems should be pretty advanced. And also the reason why I want to write papers and expositions and whatnot is because I like writing. I am also really preoccupied with writing in general. So just writing novels, short stories, poems, a lot of poems. So yeah, I'll think about it. I like writing. I did write a research paper on metric spaces, from metric spaces until Hilbert spaces. Something really interesting. I think I'll link it in the description below. Of course, I'm not a master in mathematics or in physics, but it's just something that I found really cool, and I wanted to write my first research paper right as I got into university to give myself a really good start. Next, exactly what I was talking about, research. I would like to be able to advance the human knowledge on physics. I would like to write research papers and partake at conferences, especially from IEEE. This is especially made for in electrical engineering. I forgot what it was, international something, electrical engineering something. But they have a lot of conferences, especially in Europe, where I can get to them like really easily because I am a European citizen. So getting to them is quite easy, and as well, like if I am someone who works at the university, like a researcher, I would be able to get to these conferences really easily, and I can get to be a speaker or something if I'm actually good in whatever I want to study. So yeah, that's really cool. That's something I really look forward to. And all of these, by the way, like this is the most mandatory, this is the second most mandatory, this is the third most mandatory, like all of them are in descending priority. The fourth one, which is like one of my life goals, is to become, not really a life goal, but more like a career opportunity, is to become a teacher or a professor, a physics or a professor, a physics teacher or a physics professor. I would like to chill back. I do come originally from Romania, so I'd like to go back there after my studies here in Germany and just be a professor at the high school where I graduated from, because I really loved it. I love the teacher there, and I think that it would be a really noble and really likable job to have, especially because I really liked teaching. I did teach a couple of years multiple subjects, and I also tutored some children, so I really like the idea and I find it very interesting. So, of course, as a physics professor, from what I understand, of course, I'm not there yet, but as a physics professor, I would also, like, if I wanted to advance in grades and stuff, at least in Romania, I would have to write papers. Of course, I would like to write expositions, not research papers. I'd like to write textbooks and workbooks, because this is, as I said, like I like writing and helping younger people generally just learn more about what I like is something that really appeals to me. I would like to, of course, retire with an amazing title. Like, this is how it would look in Germany. When I retire, this is what I would like a professor, doctor, engineer, with habilitation, and of course, emeritus. This is a title that, from what I understand, you receive after you retire with honors, because you're like such a tank dude. You're like such a Chad in physics, and not necessarily physics. Many other people have this, but like just such a Chad in general. Whatever it is you're doing, because whatever it is you're doing is basically you become that thing. You're like overpowered. You're like a max level character. And the habilitation means that you can become, from what I understand, a supervisor on doctoral works. So if anybody wants to become a doctor, have the doctorate degree, you would supervise and just guide that person reach their life goals. So yeah, that is something that I want to do as well. But the problem is, a teacher is not always well paid, especially in Europe. So I will have to do something part-time. And of course I do engineering. That is something really interesting. It's really complicated. So I do engineering because I want to work as an engineer, as a part-time engineering, especially during studies, like maybe not so much during the Bachelor of Science, but especially during the Master of Science, and also during my PhD candidacy. I would like to work as an electrical engineer because the pay is really, really good, and also because I want to eat and have a roof above my head. So I do have to work, of course. I would also like to work as a researcher or whatever, but if I cannot sustain myself using those means, then 100% I would work as an electrical engineer. Of course, I would be qualified to do it, and if I would be like a PhD candidate, I would be overly qualified, especially like I would know enough to work as an engineer, as an electrical engineer. Of course, I could work as an I don't know, SBC designer. I like single board computers a lot. I like computers in general, but also like PCB designer, electrical circuit architect, and whatnot. So all of these things I find really, really interesting. Of course, they're not really physics, they're more like engineering. Some people might look down on me if I do this, but I honestly say, like, game is game. It's still physics. Like, it's still incredibly fun, but it's more applied and it's more practical, and it's something that also appeals to me a lot, just like all the other things. But if I were to choose a profession, I would like, of course, to choose becoming a teacher or a professor. Maybe both. I can be a half-time, like 65% time teacher and 35% time professor, like teach one class as a professor and maybe 3 or 4 days a week work as a teacher. Like, the possibilities are many, and it's very, very interesting. I would like to see wherever my life takes me. So I'm still thinking about passing my classes. That is the most immediate thing that is going to happen in around, I think it is in February and beginning of March, when I have my exams at the end of the semester. So until then, I have to cook most of my books. I have to eat them raw, or mostly raw, because I don't have time to cook them that well. So as I said, I learn from Halliday, Resnick, Walker physics for the experimental physics class. That is really important. I also study microelectronics. I study from wherever I get, but especially from Cedra Smith. I got this book recently from the library. I got this actually, let me take it out because it's right beside me. I bought this book recently. This is microelectronics 1. Really short book because it's just like the first part. Normally, like in university in Germany, you have 2 semesters of microelectronics, and this is the first one. Yeah, I'm going to show you this stuff. Of course, I'm just at the beginning, so I don't know much, but this is beginning, like introduction. You have the semiconductor material, what was this, silicium. You have semiconductor diodes and bipolar transistors. Like, I think most of you can understand what these guys are saying over here in German, because English is really similar to German, especially on these kind of things. Most of the terms are taken from English. For example, like MOS transistoron, this is MOS transistors. I forgot what MOS was standing for. I learned in class, but of course my memory is not perfect, so I forgot. But this is the abbreviation in English. It's not really translated, so you just have MOS as it is. In this I don't understand myself really well either. Like, I will have to eat this book, Ryan, as you see, like just 140 pages of actual stuff inside. So this is going to be quite easy to finish until February or March. But my other subjects, which are going to be a tad more difficult, well, I am definitely going to need some help. So if you have any kind of tips of books or videos or tutorials or whatever it is you have on physics, especially like on general physics, because that is the area where I am most afraid of. Also electrical engineering, but there I have many books that I am already reading and like doing the exercises from. But still, I appreciate any kind of help, especially because I'm just at the beginning of the journey, and most of you are already so far ahead of me. Of course, later in the journey of my journey in the world of physics, I would also be able to help many other people, especially if I do end up a teacher or a professor. And also something really interesting happened, because I was thinking of also getting to be a tutor, like something like a very small teacher for a small group, like a subgroup of students in a class. I could choose to be in a like electrical engineering, or maybe just general physics. That would be really amazing and a really cool experience. And of course I could meet many other people that are also interested in physics or electrical engineering. So yeah, but this has been a video on my goals in physics, and I'll see you in the next one.